Or
Still not gonna answer.
if you got questions, go ahead and we'll answer them on the next video. Make sure
Alright.
the questions are cool and nice. If they're
Cool
mean,
and nice.
we're not gonna answer them.
But
Cool and nice.
Yeah. Esther made fun of me for that. I can't say cool and nice because I was kind of, doing it on the fly, as they say. So
Like
let's have a
we
look at
always
some of
do.
these. Let's have a look at some of these questions. Does LHT ever do track days, autocross, road course, employee cars, customer cars? I do road course. One of the tracks I go to is the Firm, which is up near Gainesville. You've seen some of the videos of the Corvette. Hit me up if you want to go, if you want to meet us out there. I'll let you know what day, and it's fun. I don't try and, get too competitive. No, we just go and say it's on this day. It's about $200 for the day. If it's your first time, I think they have a discount of $150. So yes, the answer to that one is yes. Hit me up, and Esther will put you on the short list, and we'll let you know when we're going to go. I just want to know, where does George get his haircut?
no, they don't.
They do.
They do.
I want to know, where does George get his haircut?
It is pretty dapper.
Yeah. Lady Jane's Clearwater.
Oh,
That is a plug.
that sounds.
That is a
kinda
plug.
fancy
Hashtag
right there. That
Lady
sounds
Jane's.
like.
Hashtag wicked awesome. Hashtag neck massage.
I was just gonna say, sure, there's not something more going on there.
No,
Lady Jane.
Just
sounds
the
kinda
neck.
fancy.
The only thing they massage.
Okay. Okay.
Have you ever K-swapped a Miata?
I'd love to, but no.
We would love to. George is a big fan of Miatas. I'm a big fan of Miatas, but the windshield comes to about here.
Yeah.
So if you ever see those kid cars where there's a guy driving a car and there's a big giant, that would be me in one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would do one.
I
Yeah. We
personally
have a
own
Miata
two.
coming in soon, so.
What's the best S2000 mod power price wise, and what do you have for breakfast?
I had a tuna sandwich today because I want to make steel cut oatmeal. It's only good for 4 servings. So Friday I eat something different.
I had a granola bar, which most days of the week I have a granola bar and a coffee. That's it, because I'm lazy, and if it isn't immediately accessible, I'm lost. I can build a car, but I certainly can't build a meal.
Greek yogurt, strawberries, and granola. That's what I had.
Oh, good for you. Did your chef make that for you?
No, I can cut up strawberries really good. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm good with a knife.
Oh, must be nice. What was the other part? What's the best S2000 mod for the power? Kraftwerk supercharger kit, hands down. Period. If you do all the bolt-ons, like say you do a header, exhaust, intake, throttle body, intake manifold, cams, all of this stuff, you're going to start spending close to what a supercharger kit would do. And a supercharger kit on a bad day is going to do 370 wheel. All motor is not going to do that until you go real high compression, rev the thing to 13 grand. That's why you see we do so many. Price, you cannot beat it. Is it the Will Smith?
It's the Will Smith. Yeah, it's gotta be.
The actor?
Yeah, the
What's your
actor
first
singer.
engine you ever built? We'll send that to Esther.
Yeah.
Well, mine would be the Type R.
A Type R?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing
right
that video.
right in there.
Yeah, she actually did a brand new Type R assemble.
And it's-
But yeah, brand new bottom end, brand new head, brand new chems, intake manifold. And it was in that office. I helped her put that engine together. George, what was your first
It was
engine
in
you
a
built?
CRX. by
I
the way.
built an 81.5 millimeter LSV Tech ages ago.
Oh, we're talking.
Yeah.
Let's see. That is
What was yours? You don't answer.
Probably some motorbike engine.
It actually was. First
Okay.
engine I ever built was a 50cc motorcycle, a Suzuki AP50. Anybody that lived in England, that bike was kind of like a bike you wasn't really supposed to have when you were 16 because it wasn't technically considered a moped, it was considered a motorcycle. So rather than restricted to the 2.5 horsepower, which according to English rules is what you should have, it made about 6 horsepower.
Yes.
It is killing
Get
it.
right up to highway speed
Yep.
Highway speed being,
at 35.
35.
yeah.
John, what made you decide to own your own shop? Do you want the long version or do you want the short version?
Ugh.
I mean, we're already like 5 minutes into this.
Yeah,
so.
they might be bored already.
How about I make it as fast as possible and you can fill in the blanks? I used to be a welder and engineer in England, but I used to race motorcycles and work on my own cars, and that was always been something that I kept keep my fingers clean. I came to the United States in '93, searched for jobs, couldn't find any jobs because I technically wasn't supposed to be here. So I bounced around trying to find my way, trying to find someone that would appreciate me and know what I could do. Ended up working for a friend selling cars. And believe it or not, I was actually very good at it. I don't know if it's because of my English accent. People think that they should trust an English guy.
Of course.
No, you just sound smarter than all the rest of us.
That's true. That's why we like it.
Believe us, you can afford this car. Even though it sounds like it's too much money, you can afford it, and it is a beautiful car. Let me tell you, low mileage.
Honest
It's only
truth.
been around the clock once,
I'll take it.
which means it's reliable. So we know it's proven for 100,000. The next 100,000 is a breeze.
Yeah.
So after
Yeah.
that, I was actually swapping a CRX while I worked there. I was selling cars, and I would come in the end of the day like this because I'd be building a car at night. I started doing friends' cars. After that, that job went down. Decided to open LHT. The rest is history.
There we go.
2 questions. Firstly, nice and simple question for John George. Who taught you how to weld? A college. I could weld, stick weld. My dad taught me in the garage. Went to college. I was one of the last of that age to learn oxyacetylene welding because they phased it out. They went over to TIG. I learned MIG there, which seriously anybody can MIG weld. In fact, I had a dog that could MIG weld. He couldn't get it nice, but he could weld, and it would, you know. So yeah, a college. Who taught you to weld?
I learned from a guy called Rob that lived across the street from me when I was 7, and I met him again when I was 16, and he asked me if I want to learn how to weld. So I decided to weld.
Why not?
Because I like putting stuff together and building stuff and
Nice.
like
the
making
rest.
my own things.
And a lot of it is just technique. Once somebody shows you how to ride a bike, long as you know when you're doing it wrong, the rest of it is riding a bike. I can tell you, I came out of college, I didn't weld any better than when I went in, but I knew all the theory, I knew where metal came from, I knew all the different gases and the different rods and the tungstens. Funny enough, now I forgot all of that stuff, but I know how to weld. I'm not saying college is a bad idea.
But they kind of teach you a lot more about it than you actually need to know.
Yes.
Yeah, you go into college and they say, do you know
Well,
where metal came from? I don't care. It
Well, they
comes from the
can't-
metal store. We
They
buy
can't
it.
just teach you to weld in 5 minutes and charge you, you know, 10 grand.
$40,000 a year.
You know, whatever. It's gotta be.
Let's see. What does LHD stand for? Left-hand thread. Limitless Honda tuning. Low, high, and tight. Actually, no, that is our clothing line. What made you select Florida as the state to reside in? Simple question. The airplane brought me to Orlando.
Yeah.
That's in Florida. That's where I started. I got off the plane with a rental car, looked around and said, which way's the water?
Okay,
And-
what's America? Disneyland. Let's go.
Exactly. I went to look at Okeechobee, which, by the way, there is nothing in Okeechobee.
Oh, big lake.
There's a big lake there called
Yeah.
Lake Okeechobee.
Something probably swims in it.
A bunch of skiers, probably.
You've just offended all the fish that live in Lake Okeechobee.
Aw.
I know, I'm sorry. It's actually a beautiful place. We usually drive through at 5 o'clock in the morning on the way to Moroso Park, which was close to Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale. Thoughts on a K-Swap Miata, another guy? Yes, we'd definitely do one. What was the first car you built, modified, gave you a sense of gratification and satisfaction? Mine was a Mitsubishi Colt. In the US and Canada, I think they call it a Colt Mirage or something like that, or a, you know what it is, don't you?
I think you're right there.
A Colt Mirage?
Yeah.
Yeah, in England it's called a Mitsubishi Colt. 1.4. I modified it, changed wheels, suspension, exhaust, stereo, found a turbo from a Mitsubishi Cordia in the junkyard. Had no idea what the turbo did, but I knew I needed it. What was your first?
89 Civic Wagon.
Nice.
Yeah. CRX SI trans, CX bottom end with a Japanese ZC single cam head, and the exhaust only went about halfway down it with a little turn down.
Gets it done.
Yeah. Fast as heck for when you're 16.
Oh, absolutely. Everything is relative.
Yes.
Absolutely. Esther, what was your first build? What was your first car? Your first modified car? Gave you a sense of gratisfaction.
Gratisfaction?
Gratisfaction.
Hashtag gratisfaction.
Yep. Didn't Rolling Stones sing a song about gratisfaction?
Yeah.
I
You can't get any, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, mine would be my CRX SI with the. Actually, the first thing I actually put on all by myself was, of course, the air intake. Did that all by myself in my
Nice.
own front yard, which was a good time. Little-
Nice. There's nothing better than an intake. That's the first thing you do.
That is.
As soon as you sign the paperwork at a dealership, while they're about to slap the hood, you're putting the intake on in the parking lot. That's like the first thing you got to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sweet. What do you recommend for those buying a used S2000s? I should do a video on this. There is videos on like tips and tricks to look for. The best thing is meet the owner. If the owner looks like he absolutely doesn't care, chances are he doesn't care about the car. There's a million things we can tell you to look for in the car, but talk to the owner. Even if you spend 30 minutes talking to him before you look at the car, you'll get an idea of if he is into the car. Don't be afraid of an enthusiast car also. Everybody wants to get the unmolested car that's got 20,000 miles on it. Sometimes a 20,000 mile car that's 15 years old is not as good as a very well maintained car with 100,000 miles.
Oh, sure.
Especially when the customer's into it.
You remember our video of that 9,000 mile S2000, and there was a handful of parts that were just wrong on it because it just sat and nobody used it.
Yeah, things dry rot, and sometimes the worst thing you can do is let a car sit. Let's say, would you ever put a Craftworks kit on a new Honda Pilot? Probably not, but don't make a kit.
As soon as they come out with the kit, bring it down.
Yeah, if they make a kit. Have you ever done any work on a Focus RS? Yeah.
No.
What was that Focus we did?
We did a Fiesta ST.
We did a Fiesta, we made a custom downpipe, exhaust, intercooler pipe in, and put a tuner on it. It was pretty fast. If you had an 8th generation Civic Si sedan, what mods would you do? Pass this one over to George.
Probably Craftworks Supercharger.
There you go.
We do them all the time. They're reliable, less heat, fairly quiet with the standard belt on there, not the cog belt, so you don't even really know that's there.
Yeah, they're very stealthy.
And why not have just 360 easy, reliable horsepower?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would 100% agree on that. I should get Craftworks to sponsor this because we're definitely giving them some plugs. John, have you ever replaced LS7 cylinder heads? Yes. The Corvette I bought, the first Z06, I bought it from Alabama, or was it Alabama?
Yes.
Alabama. Drove it from Alabama, brought it to the shop, parked it, 2 days later pulled the heads off, sent them to West Coast Cylinder Heads, found out all the guides were bad. Had 12,000 miles on it. I had 1,200 miles on it. Then the second Corvette, exact same thing, sent them to West Coast Cylinder Heads, built the whole thing, and the LS9 right now, it's still plaguing me thinking that I should replace the heads on that, so that's probably going to happen.
Well, those LS7 cylinder heads on the second one, we did twice.
Yeah.
Remember that car with the lower mileage car, the cylinder heads probably had more miles in an airplane than they actually had on the car.
They put the wrong valves in it, didn't
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
We had to send them back.
Yeah, they called us and said, we put the wrong valves in that head, can you send them back? Took the heads off, shipped them back to California, put valves in, shipped them back. So yeah, the car had 2,000 miles on it, and I think the heads had like 6,000 miles in the air.
No one's asked me about LS7 heads, and I've done them too.
George, have you ever done LS7 cylinder heads?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the guide problem?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had a valve drop issue?
No, but I heard when the car salesman slaps the roof, they fall out.
Oh, there's a separate one for George.
Oh.
George, what secret truck project are you working on?
That's not too secret. I only have one truck. It's a 2011 Colorado.
It's secret to them.
Is it?
They
It's
don't know
been on
about
the
it.
channel.
We've seen
It
you.
burned out
hiding
on
it.
burned out on the switch track styles.
Yeah, we trashed a
Oh,
switch
yeah.
track style, which we'll show you on the way out. It's still hanging above the door.
It's a good time.
So the secret project is he's got plans for it.
That's a
If
secret.
anybody wants to donate some parts, he would quite happily accept.
If you have like a spare, LS3 and 6L90 auto trans,
I mean,
whatever. I mean, if it's laying around, ship it.
Yeah, that's
I'll
what he
take it and
wants.
Put it in there.
That's what. Eventually, it'll be on the channel, but he wants to put a V8 swap in it. The question to Esther, I wanted to say, is your daughter feeling better?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. She is feeling
Second
much
question, what was wrong with her? Third question, no, that was it. That was it. So yeah, she is feeling better. And Esther's feeling better too. She was looking
Yes.
pretty rough for a while.
better. Yes.
I think that is it. Questions, do you guys work on Evos?
John?
Yeah, hey,
You
we're
are
back.
usually.
The battery died.
Yeah.
No, it ran out of memory. So this is the end of the video. If you have more questions, we'll do another video and I'll put in the heading questions so that way we can group them all together. And we appreciate you watching and we appreciate you being part of it, and you get to know us a little bit better, which is part of the YouTube video. That's cool, of course, seeing the cars we build. So hopefully you like that. We were sponsored by Team Red, but he put it back. He wasn't holding it just at a camera.
Yeah.
Tell them to go on a clicking spree.
Cooking spree.
A clicking spree, that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
So again, subscribe, click the bell, click the like, all of the above. We appreciate your business. We appreciate you watching.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Break.
Have a great day. I'm hurt.
George is going to answer this much, remember? Just that much.